Discuss the basics of inbound marketing, understanding where does it fits into the overall digital marketing framework. Basically, we understood, let's say, if someone wants to build up a website or a blog, like to bring visitors to the website, to build reach for the business, you have multiple reach building channels like SEO, ACM, display ads, email marketing, social media marketing. These are few of the channels through which you will be able to drive visitors to your website. So the thing was, like, out of the overall people who visits your website, just 2 to 3% do the desired action which you want them to do. Could be could be uh, transaction, could be converting into a lead, could be signing up for the trial, signing up on a form, any of these actions. So just 2 to 3% people do the desired action that a business wants them to do. Now what happens with the rest of the people? They drops off. Now now we discussed, like, if we should stay in touch with these users. So we all agreed that we should stay in touch with these users because primarily people are looking for information, they're doing research, and they have an intent to explore further. That's why they visit a website to get more information. So if we can stay in touch with them and then provide them with the right information, we'll be able to help these users who visited the website but dropped off without doing the desired action. Now, the third part was, like, for the businesses who are generating leads, like, you can engage these leads over a period of time to convert them into sales. So there's this whole life cycle email strategy that you can establish to convert off leads into sales. And then you want to track each and every aspect of customer journey so that you can optimize the flow to get more conversions. So ultimately, what we're talking about is inbound marketing covers all these four parts. Phase one consists of building up reach for the business and audience aggregation so that we can refunnel and re-engage users who drops off after visiting the website. Phase two of inbound marketing is where, based on based on what user can be expecting, you optimize the user flows. You see what could be the requirements by a user when they visit a page, and based on that, you can provide them with multiple options to engage them. So basically, reducing the friction in customer journey, providing the relevant content, creating optimized landing pages so that you can get more conversion is what phase two of inbound marketing is all about. Phase three of inbound marketing is lead nurturing through lifecycle email. So we'll learn about that in the week four. So last session on Thursday we were not able to have. We're completing that. So we in the last session we discussed about the basics of inbound marketing, why it is important, where does it fits into the overall digital marketing framework. Now in today's session we'll start with understanding phase one of inbound marketing, that is attracting and aggregating audiences. So in today's session you will be able to learn, let's say you're building up a website, how you can bring visitors to your platform, like what are the channels that are there, how you can select among those channels which one to focus more on, how you can really shortlist all those channels, and within that, given a budget, how you can distribute that budget across multiple channels. So this is something you will be learning in today's session, and then after that you will have to complete a task in which you need to take up a business, and for that you need to build strategy for that business to attract audiences for the website. So that's something we'll be learning in today's session. In the next two sessions, that is tomorrow and on Thursday, we'll be learning about audience aggregation. What is audience aggregation? Why a business should aggregate audience, and then how to aggregate audiences. What are the channels that are available? What are the tools that are available? Now, in the last session, we understood the importance of inbound marketing. That because role of customer in the buying process is changing, that's where inbound marketing is becoming more and more critical. So as compared to the older flow of user in the marketing funnel, in today's world, the whole system have changed. Whole steps have changed. The it's much more dependent on the information and then what all is generated by users primarily. So because it's driven, this decision making in today's world is driven through information. That's what inbound marketing focuses on, where you all you're doing is trying to engage users depending on the journey they are having and provide them with relevant information so that it could help them in their decision making process. Now, another thing we discussed was that up to 95% prospect on the website are there to research, not to buy. But the thing is, as many as 70% of them will either buy from you or from your competitors over a period of time. Guys, just give me a minute. Yeah. So as many as 70% of them will either buy from your competitors over a period of time. So the thing is, there is a huge potential that a business have in terms of re-engaging visitors who visited the website and dropped off. Now, what are the things that can be done? One thing we have been talking about throughout last session was personalization of information. So depending on what people have done on the website, you can personalize the content and then provide them with relevant content so that you could engage them. Now with digital mediums, the huge advantage that we got is personalization is possible at scale at almost negligible cost. So one of the example that we discussed was of Hillsburg Diamonds, where they were able to generate an increase of sales by 288% with simple animated personalized promo. Or if you now the example that we were discussing of Hillsburg Diamond, now in their case, like it's an online jewelry platform where they wanted to launch a new product. Now instead of just putting up the image of the product and then explaining what they did, they created an animated personalized promo through which they were able to show how the bracelet would look like with customer's name. So this particular email was sent to Laura. Now, based on this email, you could see that a customer will have different experience altogether when they can easily see how the bracelet would look like with their name. And this simple animated personalized promo helped them in achieving 288% increase in sales. So it's all about persuading customers and providing them information so that customers can really take their decision. So it's all about helping them in their journey of decision making. Now, another example that we discussed was of Kissmetrics. How Kissmetrics to this email is trying to re-engage Manas, who signed up for the free trial, and after the free trial, he haven't signed up for the paid subscription. So, Bio Atwell, who is the account executive at Kissmetrics, try to reach out to Manas, providing, engaging him, building up conversation, and then providing him with multiple options to re-engage him. Now, these are few of the examples to give you an understanding in terms of how much personalization is possible, or how various businesses are using personalized content to re-engage users and drive more transactions and sales. Now, there are certain myths around inbound marketing. So people are confused that inbound marketing is all about free, or there are people who believe that CRM tools are costly. So it's not about free versus paid. It's all about looking at customer journey in the overall digital marketing framework and seeing what can be improvised, what can be improved through this process, through this flow of user, at what stage, what can be improved, and then through personalization of information based on customer journey. So no technique is free or paid. Like it's all about looking at customer journey and seeing what is required. There are few there are paid tools, there are free tools that are available. As we move forward, we'll see all of them and understand. So it's not about free versus paid, it's all about optimizing customer journey to get more transactions or conversions. Now, second myth is, which is again believed by majority of the people, that inbound marketing is restricted to just reach building. So it's a great strategy to attract audience. That's true, but it's as much as a sales strategy as it is a reach building strategy. So it's just not restricted to reach building. It's all about re-engagement as well as generating sales for the business. Now, the third and the most important point here is no technique is 100% inbound or outbound. Now, what we mean when we say this is more information you know about a user, better personalization you will be able to do. More inbound the technique is, but there's always a scope to know more about users. If you had more information that what you currently have about your users, you would have been able to do better personalization. So there is no time where you have all the information. Like whatever information you have, there is always scope of getting more information. In the same way, for outbound marketing channels as well, like when you're targeting newspaper ads, out of door hoardings, or TV. In case of TV as well, you choose particular channels, particular time on of the day or days of the week, so that to target users there. And then that again based on certain understanding of how customer behave. So typically, what's the difference? Inbound marketing is when you are reaching out to audiences with personalized content based on their journey, based on the information you have. Outbound marketing channels are where you're reaching out to mass audiences with a generic content to see who are the people who are interested in your solution. So no technique is 100% inbound or outbound because there's always a scope to know more about your users. But it's always there that you know a bit about users. So no technique is 100% inbound or outbound. So guys, are these 3 points clear to each one of you? Priya, do you have any question, doubt? Okay, we'll come to outbound again. Okay. Now let's start with the phase one of inbound marketing. That is how you can attract audiences. So let me know if you're not able to hear me. Okay. Now let's start with the phase one where we need to understand how to attract audiences. Let's say you tomorrow you want to build up a website. Most of you want to start your business. Now, how you can attract audiences? What are the channels that are available, and how you can decide which channel to move ahead with? Now, when you want to attract audiences, you have two types of reach building channels that are available. One is outbound marketing, another is inbound marketing. Now, outbound marketing channels are where you reach out to mass audiences with a generic message. These channels, through these channels, you're trying to buying attention of uh, your customers, target users, through cold calling, direct paper mail, radio, TV advertisements, sales flyer, telemarketing, spam mails, events. Through all these channels, what you're doing is you're reaching out to mass audiences with a generic message to engage them. Now, inbound marketing reach building channels are where you're trying to target users who have an interest for the solution that you're providing through blogging, search engine optimization, search engine marketing, generating email opt-ins, creating communities on social media, content marketing through webinar, videos, white papers. So through these channels, you will be able to attract only those people. You will be able to target only those people who are interested in the solution that you're providing. So guys, is this difference clear to each one of you between outbound marketing and inbound marketing? Okay. Now let's understand it by taking a bit more examples to see like how these businesses have built up the reach and what are the channels that they really worked on. Before that, let me show you one tool to you. Are you aware about similarweb.com, guys? Okay, I think few of you are. So it's a great tool like to know more information about a website in terms of their digital performance. So let's see like what kind of information does SimilarWeb provide about a website by taking example of flipkart.com. So what all information can we get about flipkart.com on SimilarWeb? So all the information that you could see on my screen is available in the free version of the tool. Obviously there is a paid version which gives you much more detailed information. So it gives you history and all. Now if you scroll down, this gives you global rank, country rank and category rank. Not of much use. Then you have traffic overview. Now this is really important information. So it gives you last 6 months, month over month, how many visitors came to the website. So you could see like it have always been more than 150 million in most of the month. They try to touch between 170 to 180 million as well. Now this is the snapshot of engagement that happened in the last month. That is in April 2018. Okay. Now, total visits was 168.98 million. Average visit duration was 5 minutes 4 seconds. Pages per visit was 7.1, and bounce rate was 41.84. Now, these metrics helps you in understanding what kind of engagement, what quality of people are coming to the website. Now, if you scroll further down, it gives you a distribution of traffic based on geography. Now, India being the only market where Flipkart is present in, that's where uh, most of the traffic comes from the country itself. Now, this is the most important information, according to me, that you can get out of similar web about any website. It gives you distribution of traffic based on sources. Now, here you can understand that how much of the traffic coming came directly to the website, how much of it came through referrals, how much of it came through search, and then you could see that 2.82% of the overall traffic came through social, 9.45 came through display, and just 0.92% came through emails. So this is how the distribution of traffic looks like based on channels. Now, what can you understand based out of this information is that there are a number of people who are coming, typing in the URL in the browser and coming to the website directly. More share of traffic coming from coming directly to the website. Higher is the brand recall because people remember your brand and you become one-stop solution provider for them for the services that you provide. Now, the second thing is you could understand like where a business is focusing on. Month over month, these numbers change, and you could easily see that over a period of time, Flipkart have focused a lot more on display than search. Search have been stagnant here. So we'll see when we compare Amazon with Flipkart in terms of how their strategy is different. Now, if you scroll down, it gives you much more detailed information about each one of these channels. So, which are the top 5 referring websites? Which are the top 5 destination websites that people visit after visiting Flipkart.com? Now, in the paid version, you can see more referring websites altogether. Now, if you scroll further down, it gives you distribution of traffic between paid and organic search. So, 90.22% of the overall search traffic that they got came through organic keywords, and just 9.78% came through paid search campaigns. Now, within social, it gives you further distribution between YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Quora, top 5 channels. Then, if you scroll further down within display advertising, it tells you like which are the top 5 publishers, which are the top ad networks, and what is the contribution of each one of those ad networks in the overall display traffic that Flipkart got. Now, further, you could see distribution of traffic based on subdomains. So, if a company is using multiple subdomains, you will be able to see how much traffic each one of them get through this report. Now, after that, it's audience interest that they categorize similar websites, topics, and all. So, this gives you really important information about most of the websites. You will be basically based on the information that you can see through this tool. You can do market research, you can do competitor analysis, and it could help you in your decision making process altogether. So, guys, is this tool clear? Let me know if you have any questions or doubts. Okay, so you could compare multiple websites here. Let's say we want to compare. Yes, Shatakshi, it works for any website. So the only thing is like it needs to be an old website having more than 20-30,000 visits a month for similar web to track it. Okay, so if you have a new blog post, new website, it will not give you any result. It requires certain amount of data for giving you the numbers. Now within Flipkart and Amazon, you could compare the numbers here. So in terms of global rank, country rank, and category rank, this rank is based on the traffic that these websites are getting. Now another good information that you get is the traffic overview. So if you compare, you can see that Amazon is getting almost 2x the traffic as compared to Flipkart. And here is the snapshot of the engagement metrics. So as compared to average visit duration of 5 minutes 4 seconds, Amazon have 5 minutes 10 seconds. And in case of bounce rate, Amazon have a higher bounce rate of 44.61 as compared to 41.84% that Flipkart have. Now, distribution based on sources, comparison of that. So one thing you can easily see is like Amazon is spending very less on display advertising as compared to Flipkart. So just 1.02% of the overall traffic is contributed by display advertising as compared to 9.45 in case of Flipkart. As compared to that, you could see Amazon is heavily investing on search. So on a double base of traffic, their share of traffic from search is uh, more than what Flipkart is getting. So in absolute number, that will be almost like 2.5 times uh, visits they're getting as compared to Flipkart just from search engines. So that's a huge difference in the strategy where Amazon is focusing more on the intent-based users, getting much more granular as compared to Flipkart, where they're focusing more on display advertising and affiliate, maybe through which they're able to drive traffic. Now, in terms of referrals as well, you could see that Flipkart have more share of traffic as compared to Amazon. And then one of the interesting thing is in case of email, Amazon is getting almost thrice the traffic as compared to Flipkart on the visit base, which is twice as that of Flipkart. So in absolute terms, Amazon is getting 6x the number of visits as compared to Flipkart. Now, guys, what could be a reason getting 6 times as visits as compared to Flipkart? Any reasons you can think of? You must have been customers of both the websites, at least from few years. So have you seen a difference in the email strategy from these players? Do you remember, guys? Any difference in the emails that you receive from these players? Guys, am I audible to you? Like, I'm waiting for your responses. Okay, so there could be few possible reasons. One is either Amazon have more number of people signed up on the platform, and thus they send more emails and have more engagement, getting more visits from email as a channel. Now, what else can be there? Another thing is like maybe Amazon is sending more number of emails to users, basically more number of emails per user as compared to Flipkart. That could be the second reason. Third could be like they're sending more accurate email or more personalized email, more valuable email to users, which is driving higher engagement as compared to Flipkart. So these could be three possible reasons, guys. So what you can do after today's session is that you can go in your mailbox and then just try to compare and see at what frequency you receive emails from Amazon, at what frequency you receive it from Flipkart, and then compare to that how much accurate those emails are based on your requirements. So you will be able to you will be able to analyze the targeting as well. So this is how you can really leverage similarweb.com, getting a lot more information, basically doing comparison, market research, competitor analysis, and seeing like what all can you include among the strategies that you are building up for your business. So guys, is this tool clear for each one of you? How you can utilize it not only for a website but as well to comparison of different websites on this tool. Now coming back to the slides. So let's take few examples. Now attracting audience is a very easy job if you understand where your customers will be. Now, for a business, it's really important to see who are your target audience and then understanding where you will be able to find those people. Now, in case of Blastmic, which is a tech company, they build up a lot of prototyping tool. Now, here in this case, in March 2014, it's been few months since they launched a new tool, and they were at a reach of 2.2 million visits per month. Now that's a huge number of visits. Now, which are the channels through which they were able to get these visits? 29.59 of it came directly to the website, 14.35 came through referrals, 54.51 came through search engines, and rest social email contributed to 1.56. Now, why? They must have seen that there are a lot of people who are searching. So more than 13 lakh visits they're able to generate just through search engines. So they must have seen that there's a huge potential in terms of search campaigns that can be launched. Now, in terms of referrals, again they must have seen that there are a lot of websites where they're able to find the relevant users. So they must have decided a strategy to attract audiences from these platforms. So let's see like how much of it was paid, how much of it was organic. Because in terms of direct, it builds up over a period of time with the brand recall. When people know your website, when people remember your brand, they directly type in the URL in their browser and then come to your website. So now in terms of search, which is the major contributor in terms of the traffic that blastmic.com is getting, 99.01% of it came through organic search. Now that's a very high number. So what we are seeing is out of overall traffic, 54% of it uh, came through organic search, and just 0.5% of it came through paid search. So it really worked out for them. So in search engine optimization module, you must have learned or you will be learning in terms of how you can see the understand what kind of potential it is for you in terms of bringing visitors from search engines, either through Meghna, this data is taken from similar web. Yes, Satakshi. So basically, in the starting point, you will not know, but you will know who your target users are. And second thing, you will know where they're spending time. Now, what are the tools that could help you? We'll discuss that. Similar web is one of them, where you can do competitor analysis and all and see which channels your competitors are focusing on, which channels similar websites are focusing on, and that gives you overview. But when we'll take up a business case and try to build this strategy for that business, I think things will be much more clearer in terms of how to approach this for a new website. So right now what we're doing is we're trying to learn it from other players. So in case of Blastmic as well, it was a new website then. So what they must have figured out was there was a huge amount of visits that can be generated through search engine, and that's where they must have optimized the website for keywords, certain keywords, which is driving 54% of the overall traffic, which is 2.2 million. Now, another thing like that was about search. Now, second major contributor of traffic was referrals. Now, in terms of referrals, what they did was the founder at Blastmic reached out to 40 leading bloggers in the industry. Now, for every industry, there are various bloggers, there are various blog platforms which have millions of visits per month. Now, these are the platforms which have the right target audience. Let's say if you're a restaurant and you want to engage, you have a lot of food bloggers which have like lakhs of visits per month. Same happens in case of travel industry, same happens in case of financial uh, services industry, and then across, particularly for tech and travel, you'd see like there are huge number of blogs which have more than million visits. So in this case, the founder at Blastmake reached out to 40 leading bloggers who were there, who were writing about the tech space with this email, giving them a proposition that he's launching a prototyping tool that they and their readers might be interested in. So he thought that he would share it and perhaps get off some expert feedback. And he's providing the link. He is giving them an option to get the license as well if they want, so that they could evaluate it in a much better way. So it's all about leveraging the what existing infrastructure that is there in the industry. And one of the basic one is these content platforms, these blog platforms that contains or that have your target audience. So in this case, like just the focusing on these two things really help them in reaching to a level of 2.2 million visits, focusing on search engines and referrals. Now, in terms of referrals as well, let's say when this guy reached out to 40 leading bloggers, just 20% of them, basically just 8 bloggers, agreed to write about this product launch. And that really contributed to around 14% traffic. So, in total, what you could see is 3 to 4 lakh visits were generated just through referrals with this strategy. Meghna, when you get a link on any third-party website about off of your own website through which customer can come and visit is referral. Let's say Kalpesh, 2.2 million is per month. This shows you monthly data only. Okay, so these are the numbers for Blastmic in March 2014. Now, Meghna, referrals are, let's say, people. There are various blogs now that those blogs have provided the link for Flipkart.com. Let's say there are book reviews blog. So at the end of every book review, they provide you with the link of Amazon and Flipkart. Now, people who will click on those links and come and go to those websites will be considered as referred visits, referred visitors. Does that make it clear, Meghna? Okay. So in this case, he reached out to 40 leading bloggers. Out of them, just 8 agreed to write about him, and through it itself, through these 8 bloggers itself, he was able to generate around 3 to 4 lakh visits. Now that's a huge thing. Yes, Meghna, display is all the banner ads that you see. Visits generated through it will be categorized as display. Shahzad, uh, backlinks will be considered in the referrals. Okay. Now, not only he approached all these bloggers, and then whoever agreed to write about him, he provided some incentives, but he tried to engage these users who were putting up questions, on the blog post. He was the founder at Blasmic tried to reply to them, each one of them, wherever there was a meaningful question, so that to increase the engagement. So it's simple process through which they were able to build this kind of a reach. Now that was about a tech company. Now there was another example of Viz Labs. They were into online courses, online education. Now within few months they were able to reach to a level of 1 lakh visits a month. Now what are the channels through which they were able to reach there? 66.3% of that traffic was coming through search engines, 12.56 came through referrals, 18.4% came directly to the website, just 2.75% of it came through campaigns. So here again, they must have seen there's a huge potential in terms of bringing visitors from search engines based on the volume that you can see. Meghna, as I mentioned, like if you type in the URL of a website in your browser, that will be categorized as a direct visit. Do you go to websites by typing the URL in your browser, or either book when you have bookmarked a particular URL? Yes, so for every category, like for Flipkart, it could be the number will be in millions. Like out of 168 million, 53% of those users come directly to the website. So it will, in terms of ratio, it will always be in that kind of a category. So for them, almost 80 million visitors, 84 million visitors come directly to the website. Okay. In case of Vizlabs, it's around 66,000. So on different scale, it will work differently, and for different industry, you will see different level of understanding. And few of these users, sorry, in case of Labs, it was 18,440. So over a period of time, when your brand is more known, where you're seeing a lot of returning visitors, typically, guys, am I audible? Okay. So yes, Priya. So basically, campaign means people coming through paid campaigns, basically paid activities that you're doing. So in case of Labs as well, they were able to see that now the thing was like they were able to see the potential that search engine provides in terms of audiences that can be drawn from these platforms. Second most popular channel from with them was referral again. Now in this case, it was not the blogs. There were not much blogs uh, around online education courses, but there were a lot of discussion forums. So all these discussion forums had different threads and all, where people were discussing courses. People were discussing what all courses are available, asking questions and all. So what they did, they started contributing to these discussion forums, helping people getting answers for the questions that they were asking. And that's what contributed to 12.56% of the overall traffic, which is 12,585 visits. And that again is a substantial number on the scale that WizLabs was. So it's all about figuring out where you will be able to find the right target audience, seeing what potential that particular channel have, and based on that, working on those channels, bringing audiences, bringing visitors from those channels to your website. So guys, is this clear now? Are these two examples clear? Because examples clear, guys? Because the idea is to give you a glimpse in terms of what these businesses have done. So it's a simple way, understanding your TG, understanding where they will be spending time, and then seeing like what kind of potential that each one of these channels have in terms of how much you can drive to your website. Now, the major question which comes up is how to think of inbound, how to think inbound in all your marketing initiatives. So one of the concepts, one of the most important concept that you will be taking away from this module is of engagement magnet. Now, when we are building up a piece of content, it could be a blog post, it could be a webinar, it could be an ad, basically display ad, or maybe a video content. Any piece of content that you're building up, there is an engagement that you want them, you want your viewers to do, you want your target audience to do. It could be, let's say, clicking on the link in the email. It could be clicking on an ad. It could be on a website signing up for the product, or on a landing page filling up a form. So it's all about for every piece of content, you have some engagement that you want to drive. There's some issue with the slide, guys, but so for every piece of content, for an ad, you want people to click on it. For a landing page, you may want people to fill up a form, convert into a lead. On a website, you may want people to sign up for your product. On an email, you want people to click on the link in the email. So for different piece of content, there is an engagement that you want to drive. Now, the concept of engagement magnet is that you provide a reason. You think of some incentive for users through which you will be able to engage users, through which you can provide reason for users to engage, as well as reduce friction in their journey. So why one should use engagement magnet? Because it provides a reason for user to engage with a piece of content, and effective magnet reduces friction. Now guys, what are few of the magnets that you can think of in case of digital vidya? Can you think of anything? Like what reduces friction in customer journey, or what provides you a reason to engage with the solution? on different emails that you receive, different ads you must have seen before signing up on digital marketing for digital marketing course at Digital Vidya. Display ad is a medium, but on display ad, in terms of the content, was there something which made you click on that display ad? Okay, change field, learn digital marketing practically. Shadad, click is an event that you want. Click is the engagement that you want to. Okay, free webinar is one. So guys, have you seen free webinar or free orientation session being mentioned prominently in the emails as well as on display ads? So what that do? That gives a reason for users to engage with that content as well as reduces friction in customer journey. Priya, call to action is different. Call to action is sign up for free orientation session or join free orientation session, sign up today. So sign up is the call to action. Now, how an engagement magnet is different? Basically, engagement magnet is providing a reason for users to engage, and that engagement that you want to drive is through call to action. Does that make it clear, Priya? Okay. So, what could be an engagement magnet, let's say, for an e-commerce platform? Can you think of anything? Let's say, what engagement magnet do you think Flipkart or Amazon is using nowadays in their ads, which makes you click on an ad? Sonali, ads are the medium. Display ads, search engine marketing. Either it's discounts or offers that are working for e-commerce platforms in an Indian scenario. In case of US, it could be shipping in 2 days. It can be most authenticated product in for certain categories. In certain cases, it could be 30-day free return policy. So depending on which segment of users you're targeting, what is your objective, you could think of the engagement magnet. The role of engagement magnet is to provide a reason for users to engage with your piece of content as well as reduce friction in their journey. Is this clear now, guys? Is the concept of engagement magnet clear to each one of you? Let me know if you have any questions or doubts. This seems very simple. It is very simple, guys, but it is really important for you to understand. So for different ads you will create, if other than the copy, call to action and all, if you just include an engagement magnet, it will really improve the results that you will see from that particular campaign. So it's as simple as that. Now let's take up a business case and try to build a strategy to attract audience for that business. So guys, any suggestion from your side? Or as it is the first session, we can first task we can take up Digital Vidya's case, because each one of you have gone through the journey of a user before signing up for the course. So you will be able to relate to it more. And then from the next session onwards, we can take up the businesses that you're working on or you want to start. So try to be ready with the business cases, guys. If you want to discuss during the session, you can suggest any business case that you want to take up. So after every alternate session, you will have to complete a task, and we'll be discussing the task in the session itself, so that you have much better clarity in terms of how to approach it. No, website don't have to be ready, but you need to have the business case ready, where we don't spend much time in understanding the business, so that we can start discussing the strategy itself. So all the description or all the understanding of what the business is, you need to be ready with that. Now guys, in case of Digital Vidya, the advantage is you know the solution, you know the target audience. So what's the objective that we want to achieve? To attract for digitalvidya.com. This is our target. We want to we want the right audiences which could sign up for the course. Okay. So you know who our target audience is, guys. Can you think of like who? What are different categories of audiences that we should reach out to? Okay, students is one. What else? Marketing professionals, particularly who wants to uh, like skill up themselves, or professionals who wants to switch their fields. That could be another. And then entrepreneurs who wants to start their new business. So it will be great for them if they can have an understanding of how digital marketing works. So these can be three, four major segments of audience that we want to reach out to. So guys, is this clear? So you know the solution, you know the target users now. Now what should be the step number one? So after defining the business case, after defining who your target audience is, what should be the next step? Next step should be reaching audiences. But where will you reach audiences, Priya? So Takshi, how we will generate awareness? Kalpesh, is ad the only medium through which you can reach out to audience? Or are there other channels or other mediums that are available? So Meghna, we are trying to build up the strategy itself. So what should be the next step, guys? Okay, we need to do through SEM, email, SEO, SEM, email, SMM, campaigns, emails, do market research. So what should we researching about? Like what should be the objective of market research? So guys, as I was mentioning, like first you need to decide on the business objective. Then you need to decide who your target audience is. Okay. Now you know the target audience as well. Now the next step should be you need to create a list of sources, list of websites where these target audiences will be available. Do you agree, guys? Now you know who your target audience is. Each one of you were the target audience of Digital Vidya. Now we need to figure out where all we'll be able to target you with an ad or with some content. So step number one is creating list of sources where your target audience could be visiting. Now one condition is when you're creating the list is you should be able to target audiences on these platforms. So you let's understand like for Digital Vidya guys, what could be the target what could be few of the websites where we'll be able to find the right target audience? Can you think of anything? Okay, LinkedIn is one. What else? Where else? Where we'll be able to target relevant audiences? Facebook, Internshala, okay. Blogs on digital marketing, social media platforms, job portals. I think each one of these makes sense. Anything else, guys? Quora, okay. So we have social platforms like Facebook, Quora, maybe YouTube, maybe Twitter, and all other social platforms. Okay, so those are covered. What else? You have talked about job portals like I am jobs and various other portals are there. What else? I think we talked about digital marketing blogs. So maybe search engine land. What else? Meghna, Coursera is a competitor and there is no way we can target users on Coursera. Okay. I am jobs or maybe internshala can be added here. What else, guys? Somebody said search engine. I think each one of us forgot about that. Search engine, in majority of the cases, for majority of the industries, search engine is the primary source to attract audience. Because what every other consumer is doing is they're searching on any of these search engine which are available. Depending on different geographies, Google, Bing, or Yahoo could be the primary search engines. What else, guys? Anything else you can think of? Debo is saying news website, but don't you think, Debo, that everyone is on news website and there's no way to target people who are specifically interested in digital marketing? Meghna, we're not talking about the strategy in terms of how you will reach. Let's say we're talking about which are the channels where you will be able to get the right target audience. Online course review forums like shiksha.com, and various other websites where you get um, reviews of different courses and all. What else, guys? Anything else you can think of? So one of our target user is all these entrepreneurs who are founders of startups. Where we'll be able to target them? Can you think of anything? I think in the social platforms we can add LinkedIn. It was the most important point. What else, guys? Arpita, we have already included Facebook, Twitter, yeah, YouTube, Quora, everything is there. What else? Guys, what about startup news portal? Do you think it will work out? So it may work out depending on the targeting capability that these news portals provide. So let's say yourstory.com, INC42, if we can target, if they have certain understanding of who all are visiting on their website and we are able to target them based on certain parameters, it can be a very efficient way to reach out to people who are working in startups. So guys, in the step number one, what you do is for any website that you will be creating, first you define the objective. Second, you think where your target audience is. You list down all the sources. Okay. You list down all the sources where your target audiences could be visiting. So you create a list of source. Now, what is the step number two? Now, step number two is, guys, what do you think? What should you do next? You have defined the target audience. Now you know where all your target audience could be spending time. So, what should be the next step? Meghna, we all are building strategy from step number one. But within that strategy, what should be the next step? That's a great point, Neha. We need to shortlist the platforms. Shatakshi have mentioned that as well. That we need to choose platforms and develop content according to each platform. Now, developing content will come later, but we need to choose because they may be Pooja, we have already listed down all the sources. Okay. Now, within that source, what we need to do is the next step. So once you have created, so listed down all the sources, there could be like 50 sources that you have listed down, maybe 100, 200, depending on different industries, depending on different businesses. You may have very large list of sources. So first thing you need to do is you need to shortlist the sources. Why? Because you need to prioritize them so that you can prioritize the content creation for each one of them. There will be different content required for different platforms. So you need to shortlist the sources. So now guys, what could be the criteria based on which you select a source? Anything you can think of? Number of visits, relevancy. Okay. Let's take few examples. Let's say Facebook, Google, IMJobs, INC42. These are four sources that you have. Now, among these, how to prioritize? They will have said we need to figure out number of visits. Okay. But will that be sufficient criteria, guys? Let's say, let me give you an understanding by taking some sample numbers. Okay. Let's say through Facebook, we'll be able to reach out to 2 lakh people. On Google, let's say 1,50,000 people will be able to reach out to who are searching for digital marketing courses. On IMJobs, 3 lakh people every month uh, come and then are looking for job change. On INC42, there are 8 lakh people coming up to visit the website every month. So this is the potential reach that you have from each one of these channels. Now, is that a sufficient criteria to prioritize among these available channels, or should we look at something else? Conversions, but Meghna, how you will be able to know what kind of conversions will you be getting from these sources? You haven't done any campaign, so can you think of anything through which you will be able to find the conversion rates for each one of these? Guys, I'm waiting for your responses. Can you not find out the competitor website somehow? No, obviously you cannot. Otherwise, nobody will be able to do business. If your competitors can see your conversion data, obviously there will be no stability in terms of what you can do. So guys, any other parameter that you think? Yes, Neha. So we have divided inbound marketing in multiple phases. Do you remember that? 3 phases of inbound marketing. Now we're just learning about the part 1 of phase 1, which is attracting audiences. So that's a small objective. So let's learn this objective and then we'll go and see at a overall level how we can convert user. Okay. So our objective here is to attract audiences. So one of the thing is visits, but I think INC42 having 8 lakh visits should not uh, give an indication that we need to prioritize this particular source over every other source. Do you agree, guys? Guys, I just like got one response. There are 17 people online. So my point, Kalpesh, was that just based on number of visits, number of potential audience that we'll be able to reach out to on a particular source, we can prioritize that particular website. Let's say in this case, we can't say that we'll give first priority to INC42 over every other channel. Do you agree to this? So one of the point is relevancy of audience. What is the intent that people have who are visiting those platforms to convert off into digital marketer? So let's say on Google, 1,50,000 people are searching, which is lowest among all these sources. But a person who is searching on Google for digital marketing course have an intent to convert off quickly. So we can give more priority to Google. Do you agree, guys? When you are searching on Google, you have an intent of converting off immediately, as compared to, let's say, seeing ads on Facebook, depending on which content you were engaging with, which blog you read, which websites you visited, or as compared to IMJobs or INC42. So another thing, obviously, there's no objective way to figure this out, but you just have to put yourself in customer shoes and see which is the most relevant channel, and based on that you could generate the second criteria. So let's say on a scale of 1 to 5, which is the most relevant channel? You give a score of 5, and then related to it you give all other sources scores. So most relevant audience you will be able to find on Google, then maybe on IMJobs, people looking out for jobs. These are the professionals who are looking out for a job. So they may want to upgrade their skill sets, or they may want to change their fields. Then maybe Facebook, then INC42. So it's just based on your understanding. You can put yourself in customer shoes and see which source is more relevant. Now that is one way. Another way is you launch small campaigns on each one of these sources. You launch a small Facebook campaign, Google campaign, you work with IMJobs, test out creating a test campaign, then see what kind of conversion rate are you getting and at what cost. And based on that, you can optimize. Is this step clear, guys? Okay. Now, what should be the next step? You've shortlisted the sources as well. What should we do next? Guys, anything you could think of? Content for each one of these platforms? Okay. Campaigns, launching campaigns on these platforms? But don't you think there are multiple ways in which you can reach out to audiences through these channels? Let's say on Facebook, you could do organic post and try to build it up, or you could do paid campaigns. And within that, there are 4 or 5 multiple ways through which you can do. On Google, again, you can optimize your website for organic search, and then you can do search engine marketing campaign. And for both of them, there will be different strategy, different content requirements. So don't you think we need to select which medium will reach out to audiences on these sources? Let's say on IMJobs, we can do display advertising. We can make them work as an affiliate, or we can email IMJobs users. Which one you prefer? Depending on that, you will need to create content. So step number 3 is you have to shortlist mediums for each one of these sources. So let's say for Facebook, Google, and IMJobs, on Google and Facebook, you can reach out to users through paid campaigns. You can reach out to them organically. Then on IMJobs, INC42, you can do display campaigns, paid display campaigns, or we can make them work as an affiliate, or we can email to their users. So first, Neha, what we need to do understand is what all are the mediums that are available. Okay. Now, guys, how to select the mediums? Meghna, as I have been mentioning, I've written it here as well, that Facebook is a channel. Now, on that channel, in what ways, in how many ways can you reach out to audiences? Those are mediums. Do you understand it now? Satakshi, like in case of mediums, how will relevance play a role? Like how you can select organic or paid depending on relevance. Rashmi, video is a content type. Now, will you be using it for paid marketing or organic? That's up to you. So, what we're talking about is medium. We're not talking about content yet. That is the next step. Okay, just a minute, guys. So what I was mentioning was like this is the whole format you build in. So that's where that's the format in which you need to complete the task. So I will share the Excel sheet as well at the end of the session. So you mentioned the objective. In the step number one, you list down all the sources. So basically, you have social platforms, job portals, digital marketing blogs, search engines, online courses, review forums, startup news portal, and all. We listed them down. In the step number two, we shortlisted the sources on Facebook, Google, IAMJobs, INC42. We decided like how many visits can potentially we how many number of peoples can we potentially target on these platforms. And then we thought that this is not a sufficient criteria, so we thought of relevancy, how much relevant uh, audiences on these platforms. So we created this score as well. Now, in the step number three, which we were discussing, we need to shortlist mediums for each one of these sources. So for that, we need to first list down all the mediums that are available for each one of these sources. Now, how to select the mediums, guys? That was the question that we were trying to address. So, can you think of anything? Okay, that could be one, but in certain cases, organic will take a lot of time, and there can be no campaign that can be created. So, experimentation will always be the backbone, guys. You run small campaigns. You don't discard any medium till the time you have not experimented or seen the results. So you select, and ultimately, when you run the campaign, you optimize and you select the mediums depending on cost of acquisition of a user, cost per transaction from that particular medium. Does that make sense, guys? Now, once you have selected the mediums, what should be the step number four? Content creation and schedule. Okay, Satakshi, I have a question that how to choose medium. So, Satakshi, basically, let's say on Facebook, you can target customers both organic. Guys, am I audible? Okay. Now, so basically, for each one of these sources, you will need to figure out which medium you want to work off. So, in case of Google and Facebook, because of the kind of reach that you can get typically, you can prefer both. In case of other channels, like you see which one is more efficient. For IAM jobs, you will need to reach out to their team to understand what are the possible mediums through which you can target users on their platform, and then what is the costing of each one of those mediums. So, if through display advertising. Yes, Meghna, in terms of sources, again, sources are the platforms and the websites where you will be able to target audience. Okay. Let's say there was another source, which was Instagram. For fashion category, particularly Instagram could work well. Now, on Instagram, one of the medium will be engaging influencers. Another medium will be organic. Another medium will be doing paid campaigns. Do you understand? Now, paid display campaigns. Yes. So, Satakshi, are you clear with how to select the mediums? Okay. Now, in this step number 4, you decide on the content, like how many ads will go, how you will create that, what will be the medium. Now, one of the important thing is thinking of engagement magnets, like how you can how you will be able to provide reasons for users to engage with the content that you're creating. So, let's say in case of digital vidya, what are the engagement magnets, guys? We discussed it once. Free orientation session, webinars, case studies. There are few case studies that are being provided on various platforms. There are few video tutorials that are being provided as well. What else? Guides. So these are few of the engagement magnets that are being used on different content that is being created by Digital Vidya for different sources. So guys, is the format clear in terms of how you can build a strategy for a business to attract audiences? Will you be able to do it now for any business? Guys, let me know if you have any doubts or questions, or if something is not clear, or if you want me to explain further on any topic. Meghna, for a blog as well, there will be objective, there will be the topic that you're writing for, there will be a theme. Now you need to think through which are the channels, which is the right target user for your blog, and then create the whole strategy. So Rashmi, that's a good question. I think affiliate marketing is where, see, there are multiple models through which you can bring visitors to your website. One is you will pay for every visitor, every click that will happen on the ad, you will pay for it. Another is you will not pay based on click, you will pay based on impressions. How many people are seeing that ad, you will pay based on that. So cost per impression, cost per click are basic two models based on which most of the businesses work. Now, other than that, it can be affiliate as well, where you don't bother about the number of clicks or impression. What you do is you will pay that particular platform based on how many conversions that they're providing. So you will pay them based on cost per sale. Basically, for every sale that will happen, you will pay them certain amount, irrespective of the clicks, irrespective of the impressions. So that's third model, and it works for majority of the e-commerce companies or software as a service company. So Meghna, what is your question about blog? I think I'm not able to understand that. It is where you pay a particular platform based on cost per sale rather than any other model. So let's say all the visits that will come from your website to digitalvidya.com, out of the visitors that got referred from your platform, how many among them have converted off? We'll share a percentage of the revenue with you. So basically, we'll be working on cost per sale model. Guys, am I audible? Guys, am I audible? Yeah. Okay. So let me know. I'm waiting for your questions, guys. If you have any questions, doubts, let me know. We can utilize next 10-15 minutes to discuss any doubts that you have. So guys, I hope it was good learning for each one of you. In case of no other questions or doubts. Okay, I have one question from Kalpesh. In affiliate, uh, some third party runs a campaign for us. Uh, Kalpesh, it can either works like for every work you have agency model, okay, or you could do it in house. So you may not involve a third party. So it could be a third party, it could be an agency, it could be in house that you're engaging. So at a very large scale, what happens is you need to go ahead with the agency only, or some third party in some format, because engaging thousands of websites become very difficult. So guys, I've provided you the feedback link for today's session. It will be great if you can provide the feedback. So Devo, I'll be sharing the recording with the coordinator, and he will further share it with you all. This particular Excel sheet that we saw, as well as the recording of the session. So you will get it by tomorrow afternoon. So you can go through the initial 25 minutes then. Yes, Meghna. So guys, so feedback form really help us in understanding how you're taking up the learnings that you're getting from the sessions, and how effectively we are able to do that. Okay. So it really helps. So whenever you have some issues, or if you're not able to understand, you can ask within the class itself, or if you want to mention it at the end of the session, you could do that in the feedback form. Uh, so Takshi, basically on an email, the link that we are providing to users will be a call to action. Okay, the call to action will be that uh, it will contain link. But the engagement magnet could be that, let's say you receive an email from uh, Digital Vidya saying attend a free orientation session or next week, sign up today. So sign up will be the link. It's the call to action that is there in the email. But here as well, engagement magnet is free orientation session. Do you understand it now? Kalpesh, I'm not able to get your question where you mentioned that. Okay, so yeah, in terms of paying, like it could be cost per sale, cost per click, cost per impression, depending on the model, depending on the industry, depending on how a third party is working, how an affiliate works. So over a period of time, it always gets to cost per sale, because that's the most efficient model for any business, where they're certain about the cost it will incur for them to receive one transaction. Megna, like it's cost per one transaction, cost of driving customers to the website to generate what one transaction. So guys, let me know once the feedback is done. In the meantime, if you have any questions or doubts, Meghna, it's all about, let's say, uh, for Google, like how much you're spending and how many transactions you're getting. So if you divide cost per transaction, you will get cost per transaction. Okay. Now, in the similar way, let's say you want to work with IM Jobs and they want to work on an affiliate model where they're saying, don't pay us for click, don't pay for us for impression, pay 500 rupees for every transaction. So that will be a cost per sale model. Does that make it clear? Okay. So Kalpesh, no. So you can take a week's time to complete this task, guys, but I will highly recommend that you do it as soon as possible so that when the content is fresh in your mind, because the format of this module is very different. It's not based on a tool or a platform. It's the strategy that you're learning. So quicker you are able to complete the task, better it will be. Neha, you need to go as much detail as possible. Okay. So it will take an hour to two for you to complete the task, guys. If you're trying to attempt to learn digital marketing and spend 3 hours for in every week for a session, for two sessions, you can spend 1 or 2 more hours to complete the task, and it will really increase the understanding about these topics. Uh, no, Meghna. So you will be discussing the task number 2 on Thursday. Okay. So as I mentioned, for after every event session, we'll have a task. So we'll need a business case there. So in the next session, as I was mentioning earlier, we'll learn about audience aggregation. We'll see what is audience aggregation and what are the upsides of audience aggregation. Why should a business aggregate audiences? So this is something we'll learn in detail in tomorrow's session. Yes, Meghna, that's Thursday. Yes, Kalpesh. Next session is tomorrow, guys, at 8 p.m. So, guys, I think in case of no other questions or doubts, we can end today's session. Thanks everyone for joining in. I hope it was good learning for each one of you. Thanks, guys. Good night, everyone.